this is where I feel like we add a lot of value if you understand that day trading isn't technique based, right? If you're not one of those people who are constantly jumping to new techniques because you know that it's just a matter of developing feel, it's feel based, then anybody can do that. And you're already ahead of 75% of day traders. All of them are running after the new shiny object, the new technique. If you're not doing that, you're already ahead of all of those people. You're in the top 25%. So all you have to do is narrow that down to the top 5%, and you're close. You're really, really close. Hey everyone, welcome to the Anarchy Podcast. 99% of traders will never make consistent profits. So why listen to the 99% of advice? On this show, we're going to challenge some of the most hallowed and repeated tenets of trading, and in doing so, set you up to succeed where others fail. Spoiler alert, we don't have a secret strategy or magic wand that will let you skip out on the hard work of learning the markets, but we can debunk viewpoints that are holding you back. If that sounds good to you, come join us.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Anarchy Trading Podcast. As everyone on this podcast can attest to, trading can be a discouraging endeavor. Just ask us. In the past month, we've blown an account, had our prop firm go under, and in general, at times, felt like horrible traders. While we call out a lot of the gurus who are out there posting encouraging stuff and telling you that profitability is just around the corner, we wanted to sit down and let you know that everything is going to be okay. You can succeed. If touchy-feely isn't your stuff, feel free to skip this episode, but better yet, find a friend, pull up a chair, and buckle in for some positive affirmations. Levi, what's up?
Nothing much, nothing much. We're recording this on a Sunday, so just chilling out, doing some non-market related stuff, which is always fun. But yeah, I mean, as far as like, we tend to be like our um our style is kind of, as far as this podcast goes, we try to be really realistic because like the whole I don't know, the whole guru and the whole trading world, I think is I don't know, kind of taken over by people who just talk about how trading is so easy and all you need is the right information. And so sometimes I think we kind of swing to the other side of being realistic, I think truthful, and telling everybody, hey, like, just make sure this is something you want to do. All like, this can be, it can be difficult. This is going to take time, yada, yada, yada. And so, yeah, I think, we kind of wanted to just, there's a lot of while there's a lot of maybe realistic stuff that we've talked about, we also want to be really encouraging, because there's actually a lot of really, really encouraging stuff that if you know, I don't want people to give up, because especially in the last, like you mentioned, the last month, like we've gone through everyone goes through ups and downs in trading, and no matter how much kind of deep down that there's going to be ups and going to be downs, it can get to you, man. It can really get to you, especially since trading is a kind of a lonely game. You're doing it by yourself. It's not really a team sport, primarily. And so when you're going through the month where you just lose all your money, you're losing all your trades, right? It can get you really down. It can get you really down. And so, yeah, I think it's a great idea to just tell everybody, look, you can succeed. If you love trading, let me put it that way. If you love trading, you can succeed. And the main reason is that I want to remind people about this is that it's not linear, right? Success isn't linear. It's filled with what feels like no movement or even backwards movement. But you know what? Those backwards movements, that no movement, is followed by big steps forward. And if you push through those times, those plateaus, you can take massive leaps that I think a lot of people give up before they reach those aha moments. And yeah, I want to encourage people to stick in there until you reach those aha moments.
Yeah, I mean, plateaus are very real, and I like that you brought that up. So, for instance, take weight loss, for example. I mean, we equate trading to working out quite a bit. And weight loss is one of those examples. Like, think about anyone who's tried to like lose a significant amount of weight knows that you'll usually, if you're working out, you'll like drop a bunch of weight and then you'll plateau, right? Either you need to change up your diet or you need to change up your exercises, but occasionally you'll plateau. You won't lose weight for 2, 3, 4 weeks, sometimes longer. And then The next week you get on the scale, bam, you've dropped another 7, 8 pounds or something like that, right? Like the same thing goes with trading. There can be times where you make a bunch of progress and then you plateau. And in trading, it's not like weight loss where you're plateauing for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, in trading, you can plateau for months.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you just have to remember, like, this is okay. That's part of the process. You're going to make a bunch of progress and then you're going to plateau, quote unquote, but that's okay because you're still learning.
I've experienced this. I'm glad you brought up like weight loss. I mean, I've experienced this in like weightlifting, which is I experienced this just last year. Last year, I finally reached the 1,000 pound club as far as working out, which is between your squats, deadlifts, and bench, you can lift 1,000 pounds. That's been a goal of
Hey,
mine for
FYI,
years.
none of that weight. FYI, guys, none of that was in his squat.
Yeah, I'm awful. I'm absolutely awful at my squats. And by the way, I've been traveling since then, and my lifting is way down from there. But that all came in kind of big jumps. Like you go through times where you're just you're struggling to make any progress, and each new plate you put on, you start failing all over again, right? Each step forward feels like a step back, and then you plateau and maybe you mix some things up, maybe you shock your system a little bit, and then eventually you get an aha moment, and one day you go to the gym and you feel really brutally strong, and you just shove past that line that you've been sticking at. It's really common in life, and I don't know how common it is in everything else, but I know it's definitely true in day trading. I know it's true in a lot of things. That is kind of it. Success is definitely a bunch of play. It's not linear, right? It's a bunch of plateaus followed by big jumps. And so yeah, stick in there until you get those big leaps in your favor.
Yeah, and just remember, in order to get those big leaps, you're going to have to fail, right?
Yeah,
Because in order to take a step forward, the only way that you take a step forward is by failing and taking a quote unquote or what it looks like from the outside as a step back. The only way you get better at trading is by failing at trading. Like it's the only way. Like it's one of those few things. Like let's take, for instance, like piano. You can start playing the piano and you just progressively get better, right? Like you don't get worse at playing the piano. But
yeah.
trading, as you get better, you have to get worse first. It's like from outward appearances, you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna blow accounts, you're gonna break rules, and that's all part of the learning experience. And that's okay. You have to be recognize the fact that those are coming because those failures are what's actually going to push you past those plateaus.
And that's kind of unique, and I think that's why most people fail at trading. It's because most people can't handle get being worse after a failure. Because like most things, if you're in any job, right, or if you're in a job that pays you per, let's say sales, right, you get paid per sale. If you don't make any sales that day, you don't make any money, but you also don't lose money. Most things, right, it's if you fail, you just don't get any better. And this is true in weightlifting, right? Like if you don't lift the weight, it's not like you got weaker. You're just the same weakness, right? But day trading is so unique in that you day trade, right? And you make less money than if you just hadn't day traded. And that's really hard psychologically for most people to handle. But you know what? It's a necessary it's part of the business. And that's something you just got to remember. It's part of the path that leads to success.
And when you talk about path to success, I mean, it's always encouraging. Just look back from where you came, right? Like it is a path. So
Yeah.
compare yourself. I guarantee you, if you've been trading for any longer than probably 3 months, maybe even a month, you can look back and you can go, look at how much I've improved. Look at the discipline that I've learned. Look at the trading knowledge that I've learned, the feel that I've developed, the journaling skills, the skills in the market, whatever it may be. There's a million things that you can look back at your previous self. So looking back at your trading journey and go, wow, look at this. I have improved significantly. And even if I'm in a bit of a slump now, that's okay because check out this huge mountain peak right here. And sure, I'm down in a valley a little bit now, but check out this huge peak. I mean, think about it. Well, let's take our podcast for example, guys. We hit like, we hit a huge mile marker on our listens the other day, which was awesome. It was an all-time high for daily listens, which was super exciting for us. And then it was followed next day by one of our the lowest number we've had in probably the last 3 months, right? But were we discouraged by that? No, of course not, because we went, wow, look at that all-time high, and we weren't phased by the fact that okay, our all-time high was followed by a day that didn't really have much traffic. That's okay, and the same thing goes with the trading.
Yeah, and what's I try to do that when I'm trading because I'll do this a lot where if I see a trade and I pass it up and then it goes, it goes against if I'd bought it, it would have knocked me out. I'll encourage myself because I look at that and I go, oh man, I my past self would have bought that trade. I would have been in there and I would have lost that. Um, so yeah, that encouragement as you go is really, really important. I just want to kind of encourage people as far as just it's often talked about. We talk about it. Hey, 1 to 5% of people are successful. Um, like the fact is that sounds awful, right? It sounds really bad, but it's not that bad, right? Like being the top 1 to 5% of something, it's not impossible. Like if I tweeted about this the other day, but like if you want to be an athlete, an actor, a musician, right? All these things that people want to be, like you've got to be in the top point, like 0.0001%, right? Um, that's pretty much impossible. It's not impossible to be in the top 5% of a skill. You just need to put in the necessary time and you have to really love it. And I think that's a part that people often miss. If you really love something, you can be in the top 1 to 5%. It's just a matter of time. And especially if you're coming at this from, I think this is where I feel like we add a lot of value. And I hope that we've added value to a lot of people's lives in this. But if you understand that day trading isn't technique based, right? If you're not one of those people who are constantly jumping to new techniques because you know that it's just a matter of developing feel, it's feel based, then anybody can do that. And you're already ahead of 75% of day traders. I promise you. Go on to any day trading, forum or any place where day traders are and they're trying to learn. All of them are running after the new shiny object, the new technique. If you're not doing that, you're already ahead of all of those people. You're in the top 25%. So all you have to do is narrow that down to the top 5%, and you're close. You're really, really close.